Good morning, my loves. I'm your host, Angela Himsa, and today you're tuning into Feed Your Chakras, which is streaming live from Toronto on broadcasting globally on Just TV, Roku, YouTube, and NCG Television Network. Today's episode is one that I hold close to my heart. I'm joined with Kathryne Muller, who is the founder of Collective Soul Evolution. She is a channeler, a certified life transformation coach, quantum bioenergy healer, Tao Hands blessing practitioner, and ordained minister and spiritual teacher. And she just happens to be one of my really good friends. Kathryne is someone I've known personally. We even actually lived together. And this was before she had really fully developed all of her gifts and fully awakened. So it's something that I've experienced or witnessed, seeing her shift. And she did leave for a time. And then when she came back, she was completely different, tuned in, channeling, and completely clear. So since then, she's become a powerful guide, not only in my own life, but in many others, channeling messages for my mother, supporting me after a very traumatic car accident, and delivering words that I'm never going to forget. And when I asked her if it was my mom or if it was Wayne, after this incident, she said it was all of us. We needed something drastic to happen in order for the separation to occur. That message cracked my heart open. And so in this conversation, we're going to explore the heart as a portal and as a bridge between dimensions and what it means to awaken spiritual gifts, embody your truth, and to walk the path of the new earth with courage and love. So thank you so much, Kathryne. It's an honor to have you here. I literally have to book her on my show because she's like in other dimensions, and otherwise I just can't get a hold of her. so
I love it. I love it.
True story.
Thank you.
I'm like, don't hear from her. I'm like, would you like to come on my show? Sure. Anyways, Kathryne, before we drop in, would you like to start with some sort of breath work or invocation?
Something to bring us absolutely. Well, first, I would like to acknowledge you, Angela, and say congratulations on your YouTube channel and all the work that you've been doing, especially with your books, with Feed Your Chakras. Oh my goodness. Yes, I would definitely love to start with a spiritual blessing and invocation. So I just ask that you have your feet flat on the ground, and for all of those who are tuning in, please make sure you're in a comfortable position. Your back is supported however you're sitting, whether you are in your bed, on your couch, in a chair. You can just lay your hands in your lap, palms facing up or down. We're just going to do a few breaths together.
Okay.
3 rounds of breaths, just 3 deep breaths. And maybe more, I just heard them say.
I guess we all need it.
Exactly. Well, you know, it is a time right now energetically. So, and then we'll go into a blessing. I just really would like to be able to open up the circle and ensure that all the information that comes through is of the highest light and love and the greatest good for all involved. So thank you so much for being with us today, who is joining us now and in the future. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, all right, so again, feet flat on the ground. Hands are laying comfortably in your lap, and just feel the rise and fall of your belly and your chest as you breathe, breathing normally here. And then on the count of 3, we'll begin our first breath. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. Just listen for my voice. One, 2, 3. Take a nice inhale through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. Next breath, inhaling in through the nose. And exhaling out through the mouth. We'll do 2 more breaths like this. Inhaling in through the nose. and exhaling out through the mouth. This is your last breath. Take a nice deep inhale here. Hold it at the top if you can. And exhale out through the mouth. And just breathe normally here. And if you feel called to do so, you can place your hands into a prayer pose or lay them over your heart, right hand over left. And I'll begin with the invocation and the blessing. Dear Tao, Divine Source, Heavenly Teams, Spiritual Mothers and Fathers, dear our highest selves, the quantum field, thank you, thank you, thank you for your loving support and guidance always. We look forward to all the messages that will come through today, the stories shared, to activate what is necessary now, to sharpen the awarenesses already taken place. We thank you, we love you, we honor you, and respect you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you, love you, love you. How? And just take a moment here. Again, just breathing normally, feeling the rise and fall of your belly and your chest as you breathe. And then when you are ready, if you feel called to do so, you can rub your hands together, activate those chakras in our hands. And gently place them over your eyes. And when you are ready, you can gently remove your hands, looking down towards the ground, slowly opening your eyes.
Thank you for that. That was beautiful.
You're welcome.
Very grounding. All right.
We
So
need
try to
lots
stay
of that
grounded. All
We need
right.
a lot of that.
It's just so nice because it's so easy to come into that grounded space, you know, and like so many people are so ungrounded. So it's just a beautiful reminder of how quickly we can come into that space in our center.
Absolutely. And that took us, but maybe a few minutes. I'm not sure how long, but it really was probably
maybe we needed more breath for me because I've been like woo lately. Like,
that's for the purpose of the time that we have. However, all good.
Okay, we're here. Now we're grounded. Okay. I get really hyper though, so we'll see how grounded I stay for how long.
I know. Well, we always get so excited in our conversation.
I know. I love it. I'm so excited. All right, so let's dive in. Yeah. Okay, so as I mentioned to our lovely guests, I witnessed your journey firsthand. Like I actually, I'll just give them a little background on how I even met you.
Yes, please.
Many years ago, I think it was 2018, I had kind of a download from my higher self, and it was to connect with Wayne Muller and to collaborate with him. And so I called him because he was always doing these beach cleanups, and I collaborated with him, or I called him, and then I went on his show, and then we started doing collaborations where I would, we'd join our networks together, and I would host a yoga and meditation, or he would do the meditation. It was a plant-based potluck, and then we do a beach cleanup. And we did this almost weekly. It was really good, and we had a lot of momentum going. And that's actually how I met Kathryne. And then Wayne became one of my best friends. So did she. And it was really funny though, because during, like, I had my own place in Toronto, and during the lockdowns, I really wanted to get out of the city. And so I ended up moving in with, I rented my space out and moved to Innisfil with my friend Guy and his wife Vanessa. And that was great. I feel like it was like a very guided process too, and part of my own awakening for my throat chakra, especially with COVID. and and then all of a sudden, Guy and Vanessa were gonna up and move to Mexico, and just the energies and everything and the timing, it just didn't feel aligned. But I was planning on going. But randomly, Wayne messaged me and was like, "Hey, my tenant is moving out. If you want to live in here, it would be really fun to live together." I was like, "Oh, that's cool, but I'm going to Mexico." And then, as it turned out, my passport wasn't renewed, and that was when the energies felt like it was being too forced, and a whole bunch of other things happened. So I basically decided I was going to stay. And I was like, wow, where can I stay? And then I just remembered Wayne had offered this. So then I lived with him and Kathryne. And that was just a really beautiful transition for me. Mainly just seeing Kathryne doing the work that she was doing is at this point, I think she was really developing a lot of her gifts that we all have, by the way. And Wayne was also producing a lot of music. And that was also very inspiring to me to be a part of that and to see how that all unfolded. And it just gave us a really big opportunity to get a lot closer. And then afterwards, we split up, and now she's living in another dimension half the time, and I can barely get in touch with her. Also true story. Okay, so that's a little bit of a background. But anyways,
Yeah,
I witnessed
exactly.
it firsthand. Okay, long story short, but there was a time, like when I was living with you, that you weren't actually doing all of this channeling and Taoism and everything that you're doing.
No.
So what happened, and what was the shift? What was that moment of awakening that changed everything?
Yes, absolutely. So thank you. And so for viewers who don't know who Wayne Mullen is, yes, a very dear friend of Angela's, who was also my late partner. He's no longer here physically on Earth. However, he was definitely he was a pillar in the community with the cleanups that he did, the meditations. He was a former ex-criminal gangster who really turned his
Now he's
life
a
around.
spiritual gangster.
Spiritual gangster, yes, now the spiritual gangster. And he really did quite a lot of work in the community and helped a lot of people. So I just wanted to share that for the viewers to give them a little bit of an idea of who is this Wayne Mullen. So anyhow, really what took place was when my late husband passed away in 2016. So that was probably the catalyst, like outside of everything that I had already experienced throughout my childhood and my teenage years and young adulthood. That really was what pushed me over. Okay. So my late husband, John Brian Andrews, he passed away at the age of 41. And that was a huge awakening for me because we were together for 16 years and I was really in that mindset of, okay, I'm with the one, we're going to have the house with the white picket fence and this and that, and we have the kids, they're going to grow up and we're just going to grow old and die, right? So when he passed, it was, oh, that's not what's going to take place. And I have no idea how to move forward. So essentially, that's what started the journey. Then, when I went to go see my doctor, when I started to see a therapist, to support me and how to deal with my grief, the first things they said were, we need to put you on sleeping pills, we need to give you antidepressants. And in those moments, my body just quickly said, no, not happening. I'm going to figure out a way how to do this holistically and naturally. And that's really what started the journey. And I didn't know it then. I know it now. But then I was being shown, start purifying your body, start clearing it out, start cleaning it out. What are the ways in which we can activate all those feel-good hormones naturally? Because we have those abilities, as Angela already mentioned earlier. We have gifts, we're never taught how to use them and what we needed to do to activate them, sustain them, maintain them, sharpen them. So that's really what started the journey. And so then when Wayne and I first got together, because of the spiritual connection that we had, he gave me such great space to be able to explore that. And so And that was during the time, Angela, when you were there living with us, right? So that's why I was able to deepen my channeling and my spiritual gifts and really tune in and discern, most especially what was coming and what I was tuning into and what was I was receiving. So that's really how it started. And then, as you said, yes, I was called to go out to BC. I had no idea at the time why I was called out there, and found out very quickly it was to help a very dear friend of mine, her husband, and a young lady that they had taken in, and help them really move from the situation that they were in to where they are now, which was a much happier place. So yes, that's essentially what's taken place and what's happened.
Okay, it's so interesting because I started more on. I mean, I always was very intuitive. I just didn't recognize it as intuition,
Right.
But it was after my mother's passing, and
Mm,
me having a lot of guidance and even how to like wake her up from a coma and stuff that
mm,
started me on my originally holistic path, which kind of led to the spiritual path,
mhm. Yes.
purification.
Death, grief is a great transformer.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea that, oh, this is actually what takes place. Now, mind you, I chose to have a specific experience with grief. I didn't want to experience the grief. So I sought every which way possible to help myself in those moments where I felt like I was breaking. And it was, no, okay, I can do this, I can do that, I can go out for a walk, I can listen to music, I can dance, I can go sit in the sun, start shifting my focus to things that are joyful and that really speak to my soul to help me remember, okay, death is actually just the beginning of a whole other chapter in our soul's journey.
Mm-hmm.
So when we recognize that and the experiences we have in this lifetime are to help us remember and to activate that remembrance, well, okay, then we can make peace. All right. They
Mm-hmm.
are in another dimension, in another realm. We can still communicate, knowing that their spirit is elsewhere, their consciousness is elsewhere.
Yes. It's funny because with my mother that was a lot of grief, and my father recently passed, but because of the experience and how I transmuted everything, and now my understanding and experience with death, and not thinking it's the end, because now it's like, as you know, I have a way closer relationship with my mother. She's literally like my guide and best friend. So I don't like think my dad's gone forever, and
Yes. Yeah,
anyways, I just hope that can maybe help some of our viewers today, just like what we're going to
absolutely.
share. Yeah, because it really really helps, like the grieving process. Like obviously you're going to miss them in the physical form, but that doesn't mean that you can
100%.
never talk to them ever
Yes.
again. And yeah, they're
Yes.
always with you.
It's when you come to a place where you realize they've just taken a different form. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
They've
Yeah.
just taken a different form. And yes, absolutely, the physicalness, at times we can long for that. However, it's how do we now learn to be in that different type of communication, at that level of communication instead?
Totally. Okay, so just for people, because I mean, for me, like I was intuitive, and I sometimes hear things, I sometimes see things, I
Yes.
sometimes know things, and I don't know why, right?
Mhm.
How did you know the messages you were receiving were real and not just your imagination?
Okay, so first of all, what I would like to say is that already at a very young age, probably around the age of 3, I knew already that I could experience things that others couldn't. So whether it was I could feel it, I could hear it, I could see it, sometimes I could even smell it or taste it. Okay. And so I didn't know then that this is what was taking place, at a young age. And I certainly wasn't in an environment that encouraged the
Mhm.
development of those gifts. Now, through my teen years, okay, I was in certain situations, and I'm sure for all of you who are watching, you've had a moment where you've said to yourself, I have no idea how I got out of that situation. Angela, you just said it earlier at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And yet, somehow, some way, I was protected. I got out.
There was no
unscathed.
way I was like not protected in that situation because
Exactly.
and I realized that actually when it happened because I like didn't realize how bad and this isn't the first. I've had two car accidents where I've been like
Yes.
brushed past death and should have died, you know, and I'm like, what happened? Why is the car destroyed? Uh, and so there was no point, but I realized at that point that there was
Yes.
like, okay, I think that there like I was definitely like protected. And then anyways, the guides came to speak to me through Kathryne after that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Now, I will say, and you know, this is not a usual story to hear. How I learned was I actually learned by going through the underworld, seeing all the darkness,
Mm.
seeing the pits of the darkness, and coming out, like I said, unscathed. So that's how it all started.
That's been happening to me lately.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Yeah.
So that's how it began. And then when John passed, this was probably about a few months afterwards. Now, mind you, everyone, you know, we all have our habits, okay? I'm not going to hide any of that stuff. You know, I'm back once upon a time.
This is a no judgment zone, okay?
Okay. You know, and I used to drink quite a bit. A bit. Actually, a lot, I should say.
A lot of it.
Yes. So I had this one morning. I literally I was drinking a 40 ounce of Jack Daniels a day. A day.
Wow.
Easy. I was a high functioning alcoholic. No, you could not tell I was so good at it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had finally taken some time off of work. Now, okay, this is a few months after I went back to work about 3 weeks, and boy, were those couple months definitely a huge learning. In when someone passes and you've experienced a loss, take that time off, take it off. So I finally took some time off, and I just remembered I was sleeping. It was probably about a few days. And this one morning I woke up, I had this stomach, like really bad pain in my stomach. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I get up, walk to the kitchen. I'm like, oh, I'm actually really hungry. And then when I opened the fridge, I said, how long have I not eating? Have I not eaten? It's actually been 3 days. Okay, so if it's been 3 days, what have I been doing? Oh my goodness, I've just been doing this. I've been crying. I've been feeling like terrible. I'm so sad. I'm deep in my grief, and I've been drinking. And I sat down at the kitchen table, and my mom was there. She was watching her shows on TV, and I sat at the kitchen table. I'm feeling the pain in my stomach, and all I feel is this hand on my shoulder, and I hear this voice, a man's voice, masculine voice, say, Kathryne, it's time now. People are waiting for you. It's time to get up and get ready. And I perked up and I said, okay, what's going on? Where did that come from? I looked at my mom and I'm like, Mom, did you hear that? She didn't even hear me. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm watching my show. Okay. Hey, Mom. Thanks. And when that moment happened, it was, oh, Kathryne, something is taking place over these next few years that you need to prepare yourself for. Okay, I had no idea what it is or what was going to come, but that's what really started the journey. So my spiritual mentor and teacher at the time, a very dear friend, I will say shout out to him, the Shafiq Karmali, a very dear friend of mine. For a year, I went to his place every Sunday, and he taught me breath work, how to meditate, how to bring myself into that state. And I did that for an entire year. And then now fast forward, then I crossed paths with also a very dear friend of mine, Kara. She's out in the Maritimes, out on the East Coast, and she helped me deepen my gifts of channeling. And it was with her where I realized, I said, you know, Kara, I hear a lot of stuff, but there's a certain tone and frequency by which I hear or feel or see or taste or whatever, however it comes through. And how do I know what is actually of the highest light and love and is really for me, not something low vibration? Because we know those can come in too if we're not
Yeah.
careful with our protocols and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Oh, I know.
Yes. Well, we all see it. We still even see it in the spiritual community. That's one of the things too. It's the protocols are so important. So, anyhow, what I'd love to share with everybody is the best way I can say for you just to discern any information that comes to you is you'll feel it. If it feels like it's coming from love, it's for you. If there's any fear, worry, concern, doubt attached to it, it doesn't matter how small, it doesn't matter. If there's any of that attached to it, it's not for you. If it's a low vibration, it's coming from something else. It's not coming from the original Christos or Sophia template. That's what I will say. And that's what I've learned. And so that's how I know what comes through is of the highest light, is from source, is from our creator. It is from the quantum field. And they've asked me to refer to them as the quantum field because there's so many of them. And many of you know them as ascended masters, spirit guides, the elementals, spirit animals, soul star constellations. There are so many of you that are now connecting so much more. You're being activated. The earth keepers, the inner earth realms, the dragons, the Guavians, the mantoids. My goodness, there's so many. And so when we begin to develop our gifts in such a way where we can tune into those frequencies or that higher realm information by staying grounded and connected to Gaia, my goodness, it's a completely different way of living, and one that honestly at times can be and has been challenging for me to integrate because others look at it and say, how is this happening? How are you only moving at the pace that you're moving at? It's like, well, this is what you see in the physical, but you have no idea what's going on in the other realms. That's just
it always happens in the metaphysical first.
Yes. Yeah.
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 So I have a question, just because you know, you obviously know my mom and I have a close communication. One of the things I want to do is I want to be able to get my gifts attuned so that I can have this direct conversation with her. But anyways, that's another time and place. But I'm sure that my mother isn't only trying to connect with me. I do feel like I have a big purpose, and that's probably part of what it is like, you know, and that I healed my relationship with her. Because it was years after she passed that's when she finally appeared one day, and it wasn't through Kathryne. It was through some random student. I was subbing at a building I'd never subbed before. Students, you know, and the person started asking me weird questions about my mom, which was off, but I love weird shit. So I was like answering, and then it turned out that my mom had come to her and like she told me everything my mom had said, which was stuff there's no way she could have known. For 45 minutes. And that was like the first time. And then that time she came a lot. And then after I'd met Kathryne and she started channeling, she always would jump in and like channel.
Like, your mom wants to say something to you.
Or she'll just come to Kathryne and visit her and like tell her stuff, like to check in with me and whatever. But, you know, is that like something like, is that why she has that connection with me? Is it because I've done the work and I'm more open to receive, you know, like, okay.
Absolutely. And that's a big point that you make where, you know, a lot of men and women.
Because my family doesn't believe me, like, you know, like they think that I'm crazy and I'm making stuff. I'm like, I don't go to these people; they come to me. Like,
exactly. Well, that's the whole thing right now. Everyone is going to have, again, based on how they grew up, their mindset, their experiences, all of that will have a part to play in what they choose to believe or experience for themselves. Okay, and there are a number of us who, let's say, already have the codes where, you know, okay, being empathetic, having that gift of empathy already. You already knew that at a very young age that you had a very caring was one of your traits that you had at a very young age, right?
Yes. I always
So
felt
just
a very close connection to Gaia too.
exactly.
And I was conceived on Earth Day, which I don't believe was coincidence.
No, no, nothing is a coincidence. Everything is with purpose, always, always with purpose. So when you already know you have those connections or those, yes, those connections or those feelings that and those intuitive, like there's a relationship, you feel related to something. Okay, when somebody feels related to dragons or fairies, there's a
Mm-hmm.
reason why that is
Okay.
taking place. It's not just happenstance. So
Yeah.
you already are open because you have those codes and gifts available to you. And then what happens all throughout your life is you'll have experiences to help you open it up, to activate that remembrance and say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, yes, you do have the gifts to be able
Yeah.
to communicate in that way.
Yeah. And it's funny because this is like heart chakra, and although we're talking about higher consciousness, the heart chakra is the fourth dimension. It is the portal into
Yes.
which we can gain access. It's where we shift into a lighter density, a higher frequency, a higher
Yes.
vibration. And that's all through the heart chakra. So I
Yes.
just want to make that clear because we haven't actually like really gone on that.
No, but it's actually all perfect, Angela. Everything that we spoke about. Why? Because one of the things that when I share with others all of the things that have taken
All of
place
the
in my
things.
life, all of the things that have taken place, okay, all of the things that have taken place, they'll be like, they never would have guessed,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And why is that important? Because no matter what, whether myself or any you or anyone who's watching have gone through that, we're like, oh my God, it was so tragic, so challenging, and so difficult. That is what actually helped us to open up our heart space.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because every single time we transformed and transmuted, we built our resilience and we actually activated our heart space and our heart chakra to grow even more so.
Yes.
So,
So anahata is the word in Sanskrit for the heart chakra, and that literally translates to unstruck or unhurt. And that is the strength of this chakra because it is that ability to transmute because we aren't, it's not our fault what happens to us. All of these things happen for us. And it's in our ability to transmute it, the pain into power, through the act of forgiveness, compassion, non-judgment, hurt people, and understanding that these people are acting out of their own programming and stuff. That's when we choose to become better and not bitter. And yeah, so that's all through the heart space, and it's unfortunate because I'd say like the majority of the world's problems are based on people closing their heart. They have a heartbreak. They become closed off to love. They've got family traumas passed down through the lineage, or like even like wars and stuff going on. It's like this stuff isn't even our own, and we need to forgive all the stuff that like our ancestors did and live in the present moment, which is the only time, right? So it's like we're holding on to all of these things, and that is all in our lower vibrations, is in our survival instincts and our egos, and then that is the power of the heart chakra, is how we transmute, and that's
exactly. You said two things in terms of how the experiences take place where it's not happening to us, they're happening for us. One of what I've shared that actually really helped to open things up, so I really just invite everyone to receive this, which is everything is actually happening through us. Okay, so when we look at it from that perspective of everything is happening through us, if we go into that whole, we contracted everything that's taking place. We already contracted before we came into this lifetime, right? We all are here at this point in time right now for the very things that are taking place. Even having this conversation, okay? So when you realize that all the experience, I know can be very triggering. It can be triggering to say, wait a second, what do you mean it happened through me? You think, oh, so because that happened, that's my fault? Well, it's not that it's your fault. However, you contracted that experience so it could break you up to help you remember, to break you up through your heart space and help you remember. your highest potential, your highest self, not the identities that were constructed through the systems you were born in. So when we see it from that perspective, then we can say, oh, okay, oh, now I can forgive. I can forgive myself. I can look at myself now, not through the lenses of guilt or shame, but I can say, it's okay. You did what you did with what you knew then, but now you know what you know now, and you can choose differently. And you can take that through every relationship or every aspect of your life. My goodness, you create so much more peace for yourself.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you said that, because also self-love is a big factor of the heart chakra, and that is learning through these experiences to still be loving in your deliverance of your boundaries.
Yes.
All right. Do we have time for a quick little channel for the collective?
Okay. How long do we have? So I'll know. Yes, I'll give you.
We'll go however long, you know. But like,
Okay.
keep it under 20 minutes. But you know, we can't rush spirits. So
I know. And
whatever needs to be said, we'll honor that. How's that?
Yes, exactly.
Time is just an illusion, anyways.
Okay. So that's perfect. Yes, we can definitely do one. Is there anything specific? Okay, I'm just hearing now. Just but the collective. What would be great for the collective to hear most?
Well, how about we ask about like what they need to hear right now, and like, you know, the current energy theme that we're moving through, because I know there's been like a big spike in the Schumann resonance, and that's affecting all of us like subconsciously. What does New Earth look like from a soul perspective? Are we collectively on the right timeline? Like, you know,
okay, we'll stick to the first two. It's a lot. Okay. However, as
those are just some suggestions.
Yeah, that's okay. Sources also say that the field is also saying that time allowing to, I can open it up and ask.
Yeah. This is me and you, girl, and spirit guides.
All right.
Welcome here.
Okay. What I also would like to share with everyone today is if you are familiar with Reiki, we do refer to it as light language. In the Tao, it is referred to as soul language. So that may come through. You may see me do movements with my hands. That's, you know, those are really just doing codes, light codes, and them having me setting the space. Okay. All right.
For everyone tuning in, if this conversation activated something in you, or it opened your hearts, or reminded you of who you really are, I encourage you to connect with this goddess, Kathryne, to explore her offerings. You can find her on Instagram. She's got two, but Collective Soul Evolution at Instagram. And any other information you'd like to share, I'll just let you jump right in. She does channel.
Yeah, sure. You can connect with me on my personal or my business profile on Instagram, which is Collective Soul Evolution, or my personal, which is Kathryne_Muller. And Kathryne is spelled Kathryn, and then _Muller. Okay, so you can. That would actually be the best place for you to contact me.
Yes. And I'll put all this in the bio as well, with her contact information. She does channeled readings such as this. So if you want to connect with the divine, or connect with somebody who's passed over, or get like a quantum bio healing session, she does all of those things. Or just maybe you just need a spiritual blessing. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Or just want to.
She does it all. So bless you with her light language. So if this episode moved you, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. I am the Chakra Goddess. And for more conscious conversations such as this, and the full spectrum nourishment for mind, body, and soul. So until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and keep feeding your chakras. Peace, love, and blessings, everyone. Mwah.